Boxing today, it seems like there's news breaking every single day. There's fights being announced almost every day, big fights at that. Boxing's in a good place. And sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but I find it a little bit difficult at times just to stay on top of everything between checking Twitter, checking boxing scene, going on BoxRec to see if there's anything announced. There's a lot to look for. There's a lot of platforms you need to go on. And if you look there on screen, you'll see today's sponsors, Boxing Showtimes. They've made an app that does it all for you. Look at that on screen. It shows you where you can get tickets. It gives you all the latest news. It gives you the tail of the tape. It gives you all the card details. It's going to give you details about Fury Usyk. It's going to give you details about Joshua Ngannou. It's also going to have a lot more little things thrown in there as well. The link is in the comment section. It's going to be pinned on this video and more besides soon enough. And not only that, in the comment section, there's also going to be a link, a G-Man promo, which means you can access a little bit more without ads. Now that, to quote Eddie Hearn, is a game changer. Now let's crack on with the video. There's a Boxing Scene article here where they're quoting John Fury. They're actually quoting him from an interview he gave with Betfred. I will read the headline. Tyson's performance with Ngannou was a wake-up call. A 70% Tyson is enough to beat Usyk. This is interesting. So obviously he's given interviews in the run-up to the Usyk fight, which is coming now roughly in a couple of weeks' time. Well, actually, it's the 1st of February tomorrow. So we're nearly there. We're 17 days basically away from this fight. Now, you may remember, before I read this article here verbatim, you may remember before Christmas time. I think it was just before the Day of Reckoning card. There was interviews with John Fury. I think they were on Seconds Out, and he was talking about Tyson not listening to him, that the camp's not going well, this, that, and the other. Well, now apparently 70% is enough to beat Usyk. I'll read the article here. So, John Fury says, and I quote, absolutely everybody needs a wake-up call now and again. And without these wake-up calls, you're never going to wake up, are you? Tyson has tended to get a bit lackadaisical with what he was doing. But he's always been a good worker. Against Ngannou, he had to rely on how good he is because he underestimated Francis, and it was only me saying that Ngannou is a world champion in his own right. He's the hardest hitting heavyweight on record, and that needed to be respected. This is what he told Betfred. The fact that people were saying that it's only Francis's first fight was a load of rubbish because he's been kicked in the face, elbowed in the face, and stamped in the face. He's not going to be bothered by a right-hander or a left hook, is he? Tyson's team totally got it wrong, and I stand by that statement. Let's hope they've learned from that fight, and if they haven't, then Usyk will win. It's interesting he says that, he's saying, if they haven't learned, Usyk will win. I'm just interjecting here, because he has said that he's kind of, judging by the interviews I heard before Christmas, it kind of sounds like he's not fully in the circle of camp, if that makes sense. I'll go on. He said, if they haven't, then Usyk will win, because you need to be prepared properly, and it's more about brains than anything. And if you need brains in your corner, Usyk's got them. So let's see if Tyson's team can match Usyk's team. But from what I've seen, I don't think they can. Forget Tyson's team because he's that great. Just wind him up and let him go, because all they can do for him is give him a drink of water. Tyson's got too much knowledge, too much heart, too much skill, too much determination, and he's far too big. So 70% of Tyson will do the trick. So he's basically saying that the team, essentially what he's saying there is that Tyson's team need to just be there to basically give him water, that he knows everything, etc., etc. Well, I think that Tyson Fury, even a 70% version of Tyson Fury, will hang with Oleksandr Usyk, but he needs to probably be even better than that. Peak Tyson Fury, you would say, is Klitschko, when he fought Klitschko that night in Dusseldorf. That's probably peak Tyson Fury. He was quite light by his standards. He was in the 240s, which again, for a man of his size, that's quite light by his standards. He was able to move for the 12 rounds. I know it wasn't fought at a frantic pace, but nevertheless, he was still able to move very well for the 12 rounds, keep his energy. His legs had that bounce in them the whole way through. His defeat kept the shape very well. You know, he was thinking constantly throughout that fight. It was a great performance. Fast forward 5 years later, actually, yeah, about roughly 5 years later, he fights Deontay Wilder in the rematch, coming off the back of a poor performance, it has to be said, against Oliver Lean. And he goes and switches the style up completely. Not the back foot, you know, guy looking to keep it at range. The front foot counterpuncher, walking Wilder down with the jab, and brilliant performance. But again, that was 4 years ago. Since then, there's been a very tough third fight with Deontay Wilder where he was dropped twice. You know, he had that fight against Ngannou where he dropped again, didn't look good. Had a very good performance against Dylan White. But then against Chisora, an ancient Chisora, you know, it was worrying to see how easy Chisora was able to get close to Fury. And you hear rumours about injuries in camp, stuff like that. You know, Fury needs to be as close to 100% as he can be in order to beat Oleksandr Usyk, in my opinion. John is saying there that Fury knows it all. Tyson, I should say, knows it all, and that all he needs is the corner to remind him. You know, when you read that article, he really doesn't hold much faith in the corner. I mean, that seems apparent. He's been saying that for a while now. But why? You know, didn't he want Tyson to get rid of Ben Davison originally? And was it not John Fury or Andy Lee or someone who recommended Sugar Hill Stewart? He was singing his praises only after the Wilder rematch, and obviously we know what happened last year. But is the team not right? Is John Fury just not happy that he's not in the team, in a sense of he's not more in the inner circle, he's not having more of a say in what's going on in training camp? Maybe. If he really believes that Tyson only needs to be 70% for this fight, then I think he is greatly mistaken, because Tyson needs to be at his A game for this fight. And it's interesting because I'll go back to this article here where he's basically saying that Tyson has too much, he's far too big, blah, 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 so 70% will do the trick. But you look here, he says, let's hope they've learned from that fight, and if they haven't, then Usyk will win. So Tyson against Ngannou, he underestimated, I think we all did, right? Ngannou was better. But Tyson, you look at him, the shape he was in, even at the first press conference, he didn't look in good shape. I think that he underestimated him so much that he just didn't do the necessary training. He wasn't sharp. He wasn't able to even, you know, have any kind of output in terms of punches. So I think that with Usyk, he knows damn well. I mean, you only have to look at the shape he looked in at the face-off. The little bits we seen, looked in better shape. So he is definitely taking Oleksandr Usyk serious. To say he only needs to be 70%, he needs to be more than that. He needs to be more than that, because this will be arguably the toughest fight of his career. Arguably. He could go in there and surprise, could make it one of the easiest. But on paper, this is one of the toughest fights of his career. If he doesn't leave no stone unturned, because I suspect Oleksandr Usyk won't leave a stone unturned, Tyson Fury needs to do the exact same. John Fury saying it needs to be 70% will do. I don't think so, John. I think he needs to be as near as to 100% as he can be. I really do. I think this fight is going to be extremely interesting. And I really don't know what to make of it. You know, there's a part of me that hears John Fury saying, you know, oh, the team is this, that, and the other. And then you hear the rumours, you know, about Fury in the gym, and you're like, what is actually going on in that camp? You would think that if it is a genuinely bad camp, they would be doing everything in their power to keep any even hearsay speculation a secret. You know, you certainly wouldn't expect John Fury to be going and saying, not necessarily he's having a bad camp in that article, but to be having a go with the team still, the team who've gotten them there. I mean, I would thought the whole point is to keep morale high in the team. Even if you don't agree with them, you know, maybe say it after the fact, but don't be saying it in the run-up to it. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on the recent John Fury interview with Betfred. If you have a chance to have a read of the article, go and have a read of it. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button. If you could, hit subscribe, of course, as always, if you haven't already. And for now, I will talk to you. Peace.